charge. I'll run on. But perhaps the latter phrase takes a bit longer to learn. What I will go through, I'll say hello, offer a mandate for an interdisciplinary approach to social change, and talk about some of the ethical challenges facing the work. I'll go for 12 minutes and then I'll stop. We're already behind, but that's because we have an overflow of personality. First, just a brief performance. Hello. Oh. That's the performance. At the heart of our project is this simple and repeatable piece of theater, this daily piece of theater, this letting go, this mutual welcome, which when real is an invitation to ensemble. I open and I am less than myself when I'm armed. I demonstrate that I bear no weapon. Shaking hands, I admit that I am not you. We can feel that we are not each other. We sense in our grip that there's someone else here in the exchange. Here's proof that I am not you, but here's also a demonstration that I am with you. I'm less than myself. I am more with you. And we say this over and over again. This is our daily practice. We destabilize ourselves in a way in coming here. A conference is an empty hand. We are ready. This defines social, emotional, and physical health, a successful orientation to change. We promote sanity, not so that the body or mind are immortal, but so that they have a future in their mortality. End-of-life care doesn't defeat death, but turns us to the way of it. We make theater, I'm speaking from a theater maker's point of view, so that we may be ready to receive and promote change. Change is difference, diversity. We are not the furnishings in the house, we are the space in it. The closer we can be to an absence, the finer. More on that later. A quick enumeration of projects by way of introduction. ICAN is in ensemble with Arts in the One World, which Margie mentioned. AOW is in partnership with Theater Without Borders, which is in league with Cynthia Cohen and Coexistence International, a group putting together a book of case histories on art for social change, featuring Eugene Van Herven and Diana Milosevic, who you will meet later. AOW is an annual conversation I pulled together on arts and activism, complementary with that summer trip I lead with students and practitioners to Rwanda and Uganda, where I look in particular at ways the performing arts are addressing healing from trauma. We saw a picture of Hope Zeta up there on the board. For myself, I'm a playwright, and I write extensively on genocide and violence. There's a group of 17 plays on genocide called Solography, which will be produced at La Mama in 2012. David Diamond is with La Mama, and he is going to visit Adelet Garmiani, who's in the audience today, too, in Kurdistan. This kind of map is exactly what we're making here. This conference is not about content available in words. It's about a commitment to an evolving ensemble. The field is small enough, yet committed enough, that we are inventing a league of like-minded people committed to art, social transformation, and the illumination of public health and social sciences through the use of the arts. So this conference is a step, is another point on that map. It's an opportunity to be in network, not simply to network in the sense of sharing business cards, although that's good too. I don't have it. I'll give you my email. Let's see. An organization seeking justice needs to be organized according to justice. A project's true aims are revealed by the ways in which it is formed. So we see theater dying when we see it built of death, when in fact it bases itself in linear time and money, instead of basing itself in trust, listening, lust, and cunning, as it is meant to be. If we, theater workers, social scientists, activists of various stripe, are interested in clarifying presence, vanishing towards a perfect readiness for transformation, then we was to make ourselves diverse, musical, disgraced, unattached to consolation, fame, or the glamour of death, and diamond, a crafted transparency, lovely for the light that passes through. So I propose that we be diverse, disgraced, and diamond, which leads us to ethics. Ethics looks at what we will, what we do, and what we accomplish, what we intend, what we execute, and what we achieve. Per our intentions. It's such a common question that we tend to overlook it, but Teresa Avila proposes it as the gateway to prayer. What are we doing? What do we want to do? When's the last time we took time to meditate on that question earnestly, to actually challenge ourselves with that question? The habit of art is to show a thing in action, and action is revealed by oscillation, by vibrating the attention from background to foreground, different from one another, or by rapidly shifting the apparent position of a thing, as a plucked string. A moment is inviting and repellent at the same time. I think this is Derrida, but I could never make much sense of the guy. Crucial to metaphor, to oscillation, to the artistic effect, is that we know the one thing, the string, the moment, to which we aspire. We make the moment vivid by complicating or tormenting it, surgically exploring it, harrowing or rehearsing it. We feel the moment by drawing our complications to an ultimate unity. Our work vitiates when we fail to aspire to unity, simplifying instead by pursuing a kind of inaction, theater of the okey-doke, as my friend Lori Carlos would say, theater that is simply all right. Or when we substitute the explosive sophistication of complexity for the inner heat in the sophistication of true simplicity. When we try to make music by adding more strings rather than tuning them or even playing them. To what extent are we cloaking unexamined work in noble purpose? Or softening the empiricism of the social sciences with art activity versus meaningful art action? The work is getting too good, is making too much progress, not to examine our core purposes. What are we actually doing? And how can we gather our diversity together behind unified causes? Does our work suffer from too many agendas? Do we know our agenda? About disgrace or humility. We restate our purpose by saying that to teach presence is to teach seeing. Our senses are in all ways open. We know that to see a thing is to change it. There are times when we want to make a change. There are other times, as for example with testimony, when we don't want to make a change. A common error in art therapy and history is to try to get in there and make sense of what happened, to get it right, to make it right, often relative to our own experience and standards. Testimony is perfect. Trauma is perfect. We don't have to take the testimony away from the survivor by converting it to a teachable moment. We don't have to perform an alchemy that converts trauma to joy or switches out revenge for friendship. Swords will be beaten to plowshares. It is the same metal, and the plowing is so much struggle. Forgiveness will not always be a sunniness of heart, a breaking down of guilt, but rather forgiveness is an ability to move forward with guilt. Someone who has killed will always have killed, but can have killed and live, even live with the victims of a family, but never by pretending that the moment of killing has stopped killing. A witness in one scenario is empty, not even looking for the consolations of grace. By being with, not simply alongside, but in fellowship with suffering, for example, we provide room for dramatic action, a space in which the trauma is not, a ground against which the trauma may move. I am not you. I can do that for you, and you will save me, because together we are in action. We are visible to love, which leads us to the diamond sense. We refine our practice by making ourselves a vehicle for light. That we achieve nothing, but are delightful for the way perfect energy passes through us in diversity per facets. Our purpose is public. Simone Weil suggests that our right is deepest when it is most a human right, not your right or my right. We seek out in ensemble that which is most human, in common, single, and diverse in our work. We look to do less, have less, and be less separately, so that we may participate more perfectly in the massive, coherent project of human creation. I wrote these remarks last night. They already feel outdated. Our